What's going on, guys? Corbin Claypool here, excited to bring another video today. Today we're going to be talking about how to thrive and grow and budget during a recession. So like this article says on bankrate.com, there's a survey that shows that we have a 64% likelihood of entering a recession in 2023. So what does that mean for you? Let's get into it in this video. So first off, when we talk about budgeting and setting yourself up for success during a recession, we really kind of have to look at the history of what you did in the last couple years and where your finances are currently. Now, I know we want that quick answer to say, here's what you need to do right now, and here's the action that you can take right now, and I'll give you that advice as well. But what we have to look at is the discipline and the trends that you had for the last couple years. See, in 2021, so much money was printed that employers were hiring. It was very, very easy to make money in 2021. Things have changed drastically, and people's income, especially if you're in the real estate industry, have been cut quite a bit. Now, the people that put themselves in a position to win are doing completely fine right now. They're actually thriving and growing in market share. The people that put themselves in a position where they over leveraged, they bought a lot of liabilities, they didn't put money in assets, and they didn't save money, are now putting themselves in a spot that makes it a little bit tough. Doesn't mean that you can't get out of it. It just means that you have to learn from those past experiences and know moving forward, you are not going to do this again. So that leads me to my first step. Depending on your income that you're making right now, we need to set a budget. We need to have an idea of what you're spending every single month, and you need to track every dollar. Now, I do follow Dave Ramsey in a lot of ways when it comes to living debt-free, but I don't believe in living 100% debt-free. I believe in living liability-free, which is a lot different than debt-free, because you can have good debt like mortgage debt or rentals or things of that nature. Leverage that debt to create wealth. That's how wealth is created, through real estate. But don't put yourself in a position to where you have a boat loan or you have a car loan or you have this or that. What happens is it exposes you and it raises your risk. And now all of a sudden you cannot make the same investment. You cannot make the same moves that somebody else that put themselves in a financial position can make. So that's the first thing we want to do. We want to look at our expenses and see what we're spending our money on every single month. So what I want you to do is write down on a piece of paper what your monthly expenses are, what your income is, what your debts are, what liabilities do you have right now. Calculate all of that with your rent or your mortgage, and then see how much money you have left over at the end of every month. The money that you have left over is going to be used to pay down your debt, to get rid of your liabilities. Okay, we don't want to pay down a mortgage. We don't want to pay things of that nature right now. We want to make the minimum payments on that stuff. So we want to put you in a position to where you don't have liabilities coming out of this recession. When you don't have liabilities, guess what? Now you can take more risk. You can invest in more businesses. You can invest in more real estate. You can put yourself in a position that incrementally raises the level of income that you can make and the level of wealth that you can generate. Now, I understand when we see people on social media crushing it, things of that nature, and we look at our own financial situation, it can be a little bit hurtful. It can be like, damn, I wish that I was in a better position. But you can put yourself in the same position as these people if you just take some advice and listen to what I have to say. So the next step is we're going to cut back on non-essential spending. So we need to look at everything that we're spending. I know y'all are spending some money on DoorDash. Please stop buying DoorDash. Stop buying things that you just don't need right now. I mean, treat yourself. You have to enjoy yourself. You have to go to dinner. You have to see a movie. You can't just not do anything. You'll be bored out of your mind, right? Eating rice and beans at home. But you need to really budget yourself during the week and have a set amount of money that you're going to spend on groceries each week. If it's a food bill or if it's a credit card bill or if it's anything of that nature that you're going to put towards that every single week. You need to know exactly where your money's going. Now, don't get me wrong. This takes a ton of discipline, but check this article out. 74% of Gen Zers 18 to 25 who took on student loan debt for their own education delayed a major financial decision as a result of the debt. 68% of millennials 26 to 41 who took on student loan debt for their own education delayed a major financial decision as a result of the debt. 20% of those who took on student loan debt for their own education. I mean, it goes on and on and on. 53% of Americans have more emergency savings than credit card debt. 50% of Americans say that when asked to prioritize, they would rather boost emergency savings than to pay down debt, which makes absolute sense because when you have a credit card, you may have a minimum payment. What's happening is that credit card company is just raking you over the coals over and over again every single month, charging you interest. Don't mess with credit cards unless you're financially disciplined to pay them off. I'm not against credit cards. I have 3 or 4 different credit cards that are paid off in full every single month. My American Express lets me fly places for free. It's pretty awesome, right? If you do it right. But when you get yourself in that debt trap, now it makes it a little bit tougher to get ahead. And it's always like you're on this hamster wheel trying to make your payments. So we have to get you out of that spot. Here's another crazy number. Over 100 million people have car loans right now. 100 million in America. And I don't think car loans are inherently bad. I don't think they're that bad. Just depends on what you're financing and what your rate is and what the payment is. If that payment is making up a massive chunk of your income, you're freaking putting 40%, 50%. I've seen it. I've seen it as a mortgage professional, people coming in, seeing their income, and they're paying half of their income on a car, and they don't qualify for a home because of it. Don't be that guy. Get something modest. Nobody cares what you drive. That's the reality. Nobody gives a shit. It's cool to have a nice car. Don't get me wrong. It's cool to drive nice cars, but nobody gives a shit what you drive. The only person that cares is you. And so really put yourself in something that is reliable. And that's why I don't think car loans are that bad, because I think if you get a good rate and you go buy something like a Toyota temporarily, work on your income, work on creating a bigger business, work on growing and becoming the better version of yourself, then you can maybe purchase something a little bit nicer. But until then, stick with something that is going to be a small portion of your income. Okay, so now we've talked a little bit about car loans. We've talked about debt that people are in. Let's talk about what to do once you verify. Once you've looked at your income, expenses, debts, you know everything where you're at. Now we need to create a plan. We need to create a plan to pay down that debt, to get rid of that debt and put yourself in a better financial position. And also, while we're doing that, set up an emergency fund. This is where the discipline is going to come in. You can watch these videos. You can watch a million videos on YouTube. But if you're not willing to actually take the steps in your real life, if you're not actually willing to put in the work, budget, create another business, or do whatever it takes to make more income and lower your overall expenses, it's going to be really tough in the next 2 to 3, 4 years, because the economy is not booming like it was in 2021. So as far as an emergency fund, you really want to look at about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, including food, rent, any car payments, any credit card debts. We want to really kind of store that away and make sure that we have a nice little chunk of savings. This is before we're looking to buy anything else like a house. We just want to do this piece first. Now, once you have that emergency savings, what I want you to do is start putting money towards your debts. Start getting these things paid off. Start putting yourself in a better position so that you can leverage yourself on things that actually build wealth, things that actually will bring you a return on your money instead of all these liabilities and credit cards that you may or may not have. What I want you to do is I want you to start with the highest interest debt first. So things that you maybe have an 8% or 9% or 10%, get those paid down. A 3% mortgage is not going to be worth paying off right now, okay? You could put your money to work in much better places than a 3% mortgage rate, right? And I spoke about this a little bit, increasing your income. So this is easier said than done, I know. And people hate on side hustles. But if you are working as an employee of a company and your income is pretty set, try to figure out a way to create more income. I know teachers in the real estate industry that teach most of the year, and we all know teachers don't make enough. And then they do real estate for a few months out of the year. They're awesome agents, and they end up making an extra $100,000 a year, $50 to $100,000 a year, or maybe even more than that, just by using their sphere. Because, by the way, teachers have a massive sphere of influence, so really it's pretty much easy for them. So finding niches like that, or finding a side hustle on, online that you can create, finding a way to increase your income is going to be really the next step in putting yourself in a better financial position during this recession. And last but not least, now maybe you've put yourself in a better financial position by following all of these steps. You've paid down your cards. You've set a budget plan. Now you're ready to start investing some of your money. You're starting to look at different investments like index funds or stocks or cryptocurrencies or real estate. And I just want to give you one idea. It doesn't necessarily matter what you invest in. It's more so about the discipline that you're going to do it over the long term. I heard somebody say something that is really good. An investor is not somebody that's just flipping a property and making a quick dollar. An investor is somebody who's investing their money for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and they are looking at the long-term gains of their money, of what that's going to do for them down the road. So for example, 30 years at an average rate of 8% on a return with a $500 a month contribution would net you almost $1 million, $708,806 in 30 years. Now, with the way inflation's going, you're probably going to want more than $708,000 in 30 years because that's going to be equivalent to today's money of like $200,000 or probably less. But that's why it's also very important to take into account that you really want to be focusing on creating more income for yourself so that you can invest more than $500, right? This is just one investment. You can buy real estate. You can rent out properties. You can put yourself in a better spot so that you have the ability to win, okay? The money game is actually very easy. It's very easy. It just takes a lot of discipline. If you discipline yourself with your money, you're disciplined on what you spend, you're disciplined what you do every single month with it, you can put yourself in a position where you're winning no matter the income that you make. You can be making $60,000 a year, the average American salary, and you can be a millionaire by the time you retire. Absolutely. Not everybody wants to go and sell and do all this crazy stuff and try to make a bunch of money. But that doesn't mean that you don't want to put yourself in a financial position to where you're thriving when you retire. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm excited to post more content like this. If it helped, please like and subscribe. I hope my content can get better and better as this evolves. My real main goal is just to provide value. I'm in the mortgage industry. I want to help people purchase homes. I want to help people purchase real estate, and I want to help get you in a financial position to where you can win, because you can absolutely win this game. It's so easy. It's so easy. Just people aren't disciplined, and people aren't taught from a young age what to do with their finances. They're not taught about investing. They're not taught about compounding interest. They're not taught about these things. And I feel like I can be a source to help people out with that, because I'm self-made. I came from absolutely, I mean, don't get me wrong. I had a good household. I had a great upbringing in a lot of ways. I don't have any complaints as far as that. But as far as like with what I've accumulated in the short amount of time, I've done this all myself, and I haven't had help. I started with $0 and just me being a salesperson as a mortgage guy, just going in and cold calling on offices and, you know, learning to create wealth and investing in real estate and other things of that nature. So, I mean, I shaved the beard, so I probably look a little baby face, but that's really it, guys. I hope this video helps you. If you need anything, feel free to comment below. I'll respond to you, and let's crush it. 2023 is going to be an amazing year. It doesn't have to be a recession. The recession only exists in your mind. Peace.